Yeah, I got to just see. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This is your boy NarikChase. Along with me, I have KP, and he's here for another character ranker video. And this is episode 13. And in this video, we are going to be ranking Loki.
Ooh, say it again.
I say his real name, Loki. Let me say.
No.
Loki was portrayed by Tom Hiddleston in the MCU, and to great effect too, because he's actually become a pretty popular character for such an obscure character.
I don't know if he's obscure.
You
don't see it. I mean, if you watch the animated series, you see Loki pop up a lot, but it's not the Loki that we're used to in the MCU.
That's more because of when the MCU kind of popped out. Then now he's kind of everywhere, but like before then, but then again, I really didn't follow the comics. But when I did follow the comics, I never read about Loki.
Loki was there. I remember watching a lot of the, I guess you could say pre-Marvel. You know, you had your Iron Man and Iceman and all these other characters popping up in these shows that Stan Lee used to do. And Loki from time to time would show up, but he would always be very overdramatic. He was pretty mean. He was not the cunning character that you see with Tom Hiddleston. He was more of a direct, upfront, I want it, you can give it to me kind of character. And of course, his horns were much bigger. You know, he was much more of a fighter, not so much as a. I'm not gonna say a wuss. I mean, he would fight, but he wasn't always the Tom Hiddleston version is more cunning, conniving, smarter, trying to be the next step ahead, and utilizes his abilities a lot more than the animated or the comic book series character did, which is a plus. It's a very different character. You know, the clothing, the cloaks, the style, his helmet, all fit, very well. His personality fit very well. But there is a definite departure from the MCU movies to the MCU comic series. There is a lot of differences there.
Okay, I can give you that one. What do you think about what are your impressions of the character and thoughts of the character overall?
I think the Loki character was a great introduction, because we were combining all these different worlds and all their kind of different bad guys, but bringing Loki in as Loki wanted power, he wanted to be recognized. He found out his true lineage. Even though he's been raised with Thor as his brother the whole time, not knowing that he's different, per se. I enjoyed their chemistry, especially in Ragnarok. That was good. That was pretty funny in Ragnarok. But, they always backstab. Either they'll fight for each other, but then they'll try to backstab each other too. So there's a lot of good chemistry between the two characters, which you don't see so much in the comic. Usually in the comic, Loki is pretty much the bad guy. And by bad guy, meaning he is not friends with Thor. He's not his brother in Thor. They are definitely opposing forces.
Yeah.
And they beat the snot out of each other any chance they get. So seeing the MCU with the interaction and the character that Tom Hiddleston has brought has been great. He has the ego. He has the ability. He has the skills. But he brings a different twist to the character, which I think has been quite entertaining and very... The character of Loki has changed since we saw him in Avengers to we saw him in Infinity War. His character has definitely grown, and it has changed, and developed very well. Especially, you really saw the good chemistry in Ragnarok is where it really started kicking in. And on the tail end of Ragnarok at the beginning and to the very beginning of Infinity War. And I'll leave it with that. I was very sad after Infinity War. I'm hoping there may be some little side twist, something in here that we might be able to pull off in Avengers 4. But at this point, I'm kind of bummed. but I have definitely enjoyed the character, and I definitely loved him in Thor Ragnarok. That was really good. Especially, we were talking a little bit earlier with the Hulk, how he was in there and he was set himself all up. I'm good. I'm high standing. I've been here. I've got it made. And then Thor shows up and he's like jeopardized now. What do I do? How do I get rid of him? Throw him into the tournament. Yeah, let's do that so we can get rid of him. And he makes it through the tournament. So yes, there's some great comedy moments with him. Great interaction. I have definitely watched the character grow, and I think that's the biggest plus. I think really is to see how much the Loki character has gone from a very self-centered person to slightly giving a care about something as he's developed through. I mean, he's still Loki. Don't get me wrong, but he is definitely a character that has grown and grown well in the MCU universe. And like I said, the comic version and him version are two different animals.
Yeah.
They look very much alike, but there is definitely two worlds apart here.
I do appreciate that about the character that they presented, Tom Hiddleston's performance of the character, because he's written so well he's a very diverse character. There's moments where have you ever seen Naruto?
Yes.
He's like Sasuke. And Thor would be more like Naruto. Sasuke is very self-centered, but Naruto brings the best out of his character, and especially when it comes to like their fighting and stuff.
Wasn't Sasuke the one that carries the big thing of sand?
No, that's Gaara. Sasuke was the one that had the red eyes. He can make his eyes red. Yeah, and they pushed each other, and it's kind of like Goku and Vegeta. I think that's how Thor and Loki's relationship is. Thor is the good one. Loki's is kind of the bad boy, and his brother kind of, Thor kind of keeps him in line.
Yeah. He has all his life until he kind of discovered his true origin. And I mean, he was always kind of power hungry anyway, but then when he really discovered what all it was about, then, he took a complete vengeance thing against his own, Odin, basically, or what he considered his dad. And then even when his mom, got killed.
He showed regret.
He had a huge amount of revenge kicked in, and I'm going to take these guys down for what they did. So,
and I do like that. Despite everything that he's done, whenever something bad happened to Thor, he showed regret, but more of what happened to his parents, to his mother and Odin, because when his mother died, you saw a lot of you saw him. He was regretful for that. Same thing with Odin, even though he played Odin, he was playing all the people. When Odin actually died, or whatever the hell happened to him,
he just moved on to another plane.
Yeah, you can see that he was sad about that too.
Yeah.
So, and even in the first Avengers, when he's doing all he's doing, there's a moment where Thor gets to him. He's like, "Dude, we got to stop this," and he actually gets to him for a second. So, and that's the dynamic with this character. Hiddleston just brings to the character. He makes his character live and breathe, and I appreciate that. And sometimes it does feel a little repetitive if you're one of those guys that tends to be like, okay, I'm a good guy, then I'm a bad guy, then I'm a good guy, then I'm a bad guy. It just depends on the circumstance. And I like that because
he is best benefit.
Yeah, he's more of a circumstantial type character, and it is still in his best interest. Which, like you said, in Thor Ragnarok, he tried to help his brother out, fighting. He did all this to his dad and to everybody. He ended up basically killing his dad. Felt regretful. Was going to join Thor to fight Hela. They were fighting, and then when Thor gets planted on this planet, he's like, "Okay, bro, I can't really help you. You're kind of on your own now." So, and that back and forth dynamic, but it ended up, like you said, solidifying by the end of the film, where he's like, "Okay, all right, brother, I'm here. We're gonna do this, even though I keep doing crazy stuff to you." But I like that dynamic, and I think the best possible way is because he has he does have a conscience, and it is kind of stemming from Thor. Just whatever he does, something bad, he kind of plays it off like he doesn't care, but he actually does care to some.
Yeah, you can see that in the very beginning of Infinity War.
Mm-hmm. That moment right there is like, okay, if you had any question about that or doubts for that character, that moment right there proved it. That moment proved that he was actually, I guess you say, a good guy. Maybe not much a
When
good,
it's all said and done,
yeah.
when it all comes down to the wire, yeah.
And he could have let the people of Asgard die, but he didn't. He came back for them.
He very well could have done all that.
See, so and that's the dynamic of that character. He has a lot of great personality. He's not so much a badass, although he can fight.
Yeah, he uses his abilities, manipulation, camouflage. I mean, he's the stealthy version. Thor is just brute power up in your face and there. He actually uses his brain. He thinks. He works around. He manipulates everything to try to make his mark, make his move, whatever you want to call it. But yeah,
I'm gonna start calling Loki. Loki to me is the Quan Chi of Mortal Kombat because of the MCU. Because if you watch Quan Chi in Mortal Kombat, he's a powerful magic user, and even though he can fight, a lot of people can kick his ass. So he tries to manipulate people, and I like that about that Loki character. And I like that he can fight. But every time you see him get into like a fight with like a major character, he does get beat.
Yeah, he got Hulk beat.
Hulk
beat bad.
Thor beat him. Thor beat him, I think, twice. Iron Man beat him. Captain America, we didn't actually get to see that fight pan out because Iron Man showed up. Valkyrie beat him.
Yeah.
I mean, he can.
I think she can beat a lot of people personally.
Yeah. I mean, he can fight. It just, you know what I'm saying? He and I like that he can fight. Like he is like a coward. Which I think that's pretty cool too. But I think a lot of his self-interest do tend to backfire on him. That's what happened in that's what happened with the first Thor. It kind of backfired on him. That's what happened in the second Thor. It backfired on him. Got his mom killed.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't go well at all.
But I also
go well at all.
But I also like the fact that he can be an asshole. That moment in the Avengers, and the Avengers actually made him to where, like, okay, if he was wanted to be straight bad guy, yeah, he was good. In that movie, he was solid as a bad guy. Especially that moment, really good moment he had between him and Black Widow.
Oh yeah, in the helicarrier.
Yeah, when that tank thing.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, he was smooth for that one. He was a smooth bad boy for that one. I was like, God, can't believe you just said that.
Yeah, he's a smooth character, that's for sure.
And he's pretty smart too. So I like that character. I like him because he's that. And like I said, I always rated my bad guys two ways: personality, badass. He actually has a lot of personality. He's got a lot of charisma. I like his abilities. I like that he can fight, and I like that he's stylish too. What do you think about his overall character design?
I was pretty happy with it. I like it when he showed up in Comic-Con. Bow before me, you heathen mortals. Carrying on that thing. I also liked it in the very first Avengers when he showed up and he was walking out, and then his change where he added the staff and his horns came out and everything. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that is Loki to a page right there. Because before you didn't see him that way. All you saw him was with the suit, but you never saw the full on character. And at that moment in Germany, when they were at that trying to get that what was it, a piece of the meteorite or something they needed to get, where he showed his full
everything. When it was at that gala at the
Galleria and the mall, and the one German refugee said, "I'm not," and he was standing up against him.
Yeah, that's when Captain America and
his ass.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, loved it.
I,
Loved it.
I thought the horns were a little too goofy at first, but then as I
Well, they're
started,
bigger in the comic. The comic, they're massive.
yeah, and I was like, yeah, I took that in consideration. I'm like, they ain't that bad. They aren't that bad. Yeah, it looks kind of like Hellboy a little bit. So let's.
That's what it kind of reminded me of too. I felt the Hellboy moment there when he did it, but then again, I have to remember I'm not watching, Hellboy at this point. So yeah, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I think they did very well. They kept to the colors, the green and the yellow. They had the horns, they had the staff, which he does have in the comics. It was more of a tailored suit, not so much. I mean, even Thor's armor was, body armor was not exactly like in the comic, but it was close enough to resemble it that yeah, I could see it. So I have no qualms with any of the costuming or design there. I think it worked very well, and carried on through the show, carried on through the series of MCU movies.
And you know why? Well, another reason I like the outfit so much, because it doesn't look over the top, or it doesn't look like a comic book outfit. It looked like if you went to like a foreign country, that's something they might wear.
Well, a lot of their styles were derived off of native wear, Norse wear. Like Thor's armor is, you know, kind of a hodgepodge. So yeah, it didn't. Yeah, it's not like trying to think who had some really just crazy outfit like that just really didn't fit their character. It's just like, what the heck were they thinking?
I'm not gonna say it didn't fit their character, but it just looks so. It just looks like real. Like
How about
it,
natural? Just like it
yeah. Like if
just
you,
fits them like the glove.
I could practically see somebody in another country, and their culture was more closer to that. It would look something like that. And I'm like, okay, it looks really cool. Like if if somebody doing a walkway or something, I could see somebody designing something like that and actually be like, okay, that actually looks pretty cool. Like you see somebody in New York wearing or something. I don't. Oh man.
That'd be kind of crazy.
I mean, it looks really stylish, and that's the best thing to me about it. It does look stylish, and in his outfit, from all like most of the Asgardian people, either that stuff looks like highly royal or it looks highly warrior like. But I think
Yeah,
his looks pretty,
he's like right in the middle.
yeah, looks pretty grounded. That's I can, and even with the other films, it kind of change. It kind of becomes the less. uh I don't want to say overlaid. It starts gets a little bit more simpler in some of the designs, but the original one that you popped up in the Avengers with, I really like that one the best. And Ragnarok, he looks kind of like Robin Hood.
But
Even the helmet change.
it's Thor. I mean, it's Loki, and it's Thor.
So, and what about his abilities?
I think actually, the comics he's a lot more violent of a character, he's more of a fighter. Which to me, Loki's the trickster. If you read any Norse anything, I mean, yes, he's a good fighter, but he is a trickster. He uses everything to his advantage that he can and find. And I think within the storyline of the MCU movie series, I think they did an excellent job of moving him towards more of the trickster, less of a fighter, but more of a trickster. And he's more cunning, conniving, smarter. Like I say, he can fight if he needs to, but for the most part, that's not what he does. He's a manipulator. And I think throughout the entire series, he's done an excellent job. I mean, he's been nasty when he needed to be. When he took out Agent Coulson.
Yeah.
When he dumped the Hulk out the tube, when he, brought on the entire army there from the other dimension. I mean, yeah, he was power hungry and he was driven and he wanted to do something. So, but I think they did a very good job, not so much keeping the comic book style, but bringing Loki into his own as the trickster. I think they did a phenomenal job with that.
I want to ask you this too, because I've come to think that I think if it wasn't for Loki, things that Loki is basically the center point for everything happening in the with the MCU. To me,
Well, he's got a lot of tie-ins because I mean, look, he He brought the the knowledge stone in the staff that he was given to by Thanos. He brought Thanos' army into the universe, introducing Thanos to us in a way, in the background.
And he brought the Avengers together.
He brought, he was one of the main reasons the Avenger teams up. He was the forerunner into the fall of Asgard, in more than one way. Death of the royal family, and again tying into 2 or 3 movies. I mean, each thing, he's tied into some form or fashion. So I mean, he's played a large role, whether people pay attention to it or not. He has actually influenced a lot of the movies that you've seen. It's not just a Thor movie that he's been involved, because he was also briefly in, he tied in with Doctor Strange, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
He tied in, of course, Thor Ragnarok and Thor, Avengers, Infinity War. He's been in, out of the 15 movies, I mean, he's been in over half of them, or influenced something that has happened in them.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he hadn't brought the Knowledge Stone, they wouldn't have had Ultron, and they wouldn't have had man, where's I going to go with that? We wouldn't have, well, basically that affected Ultron anyway, even though he wasn't truly in the show, but his staff was.
Yeah.
And then we got, we also now have Thanos, who's after all the Infinity Stones, so it ties into Infinity War 4 or Infinity War. Not so much in the Civil War, but Captain America with the Cosmic Cube. So yeah, he's been either involved in or directly related to something in almost every of the MCU movies we've seen since Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. And I like that, and that's what makes him such a great character on that, because if by that you would say he was just as important to the MCU as probably Thanos, because even though Thanos has not been has made his own,
but his presence was there.
Yes.
His presence is, Thanos' presence has been almost every movie, just like Loki, because Loki and him were hand in hand from the very beginning. Loki wanted power, Thanos wanted the stones. So he let Loki loose to do his dirty work, just like the not the Black Army. What were they called? The
Black Death. I don't know.
Yeah, his little personal army there.
Yeah.
They went and messed up everything to get the stones. So yeah, I mean, he's had true influence in many, many movies, and I think that's been good. Until you actually said that, I really hadn't thought about that, and then I just started kind of thinking like, well, yeah, he caused this, which caused that, which caused the Red Skull to do the Soul Stone, which caused, I mean, if you just start putting it together and walking through, you will see him ripple the whole universe all the way to Avengers Infinity War. Almost in every movie, except I would say maybe like the Hulk or something, where he didn't have a lot of tie into that, but still.
Yeah.
Well, no, he was there too. So yeah, but that was a good thought, though. I just never really put that together, but yeah.
I ask you this then: Disney on their streaming service is talking about having a Loki TV series. If it is Tom Hiddleston, do you think the character deserves a series?
Doing a Loki series?
Yeah, they're talking about doing like a Scarlet Witch one too.
Really? I don't. That's a toughie.
If it's him,
if Hiddleston plays Loki, I just really got to see how they would play that off.
The only way I can see playing it off is if potentially he was a bad guy, and but it's like if he's a good guy, what situation would he be to have a series?
But if he plays a bad guy or an no, you can't really play an anti-hero because it's not his category. If he plays a bad guy, they're going to have a good guy in there somewhere.
Or
who's going to be the good guy?
Or somebody that's even better than him.
Or he's actually, he starts out as a bad guy, but something even worse than him comes into play. Which there are a few characters who probably could pull it off. But
I don't
see I really can't see a series like that. I mean, I like Tom Hiddleston. I enjoy the character, but just like Scarlet Witch, I mean, I can't see
I can't see
how they would support a series at this moment. Definitely Loki, I don't see at all. I mean, Scarlet Witch, you could play around with. Yes, you could probably pull something off and have it where she's on her own, or she kind of freelances a little bit, and you kind of throw in the supernatural elements, and every now and then pop in Star here and there. I could see that, but I just don't know where Loki would go. I just can't see that right now.
And let me ask you this: moving forward, should Loki return to the MCU? What would you like to see of the character?
I would like to see him hit back one more time. If anything, to enact revenge, to make everything right that he wronged. Just even if it's, he gets that, you get 24 hours to make whatever and go. Because I don't think he's going to return, but that doesn't mean that the opportunity in Avengers 4 for even a reprieve through some, there's a lot of theories moving about the movie, and we could talk all day about that. But if for somehow reason his character does return to Avengers 4, to me, I would like to see a really good send off for the character and him really doing something meaningful, something something that just seals that character into your good mind, that yeah, he screwed up, he figured it out, and he redeemed himself, and he goes out with a bang. I mean, to me, that would be cool. I mean, if he came back permanently, hey, I'd be good with that too. But I think after what we saw in Infinity War, I think there's a step where if they play around that they're talking like nothing will change. So his character would actually kind of go revert back to before even, the old Loki. So, I mean, there's a couple different ways this can go, but
Mm,
I don't know. If he does, I'd like to see Redemption bang out and be called cool. If not, he can come back as is and just carry on to some other movies and then redevelop himself again. It's
okay.
an either way road here. It's just really hard to say. I think they actually did say his character probably would not return, but that doesn't mean anything, especially if you use time travel. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter at that point. So, and we do know that there is going to be something involved in Avengers 4 with time travel. We've already seen characters, Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, with both eyes in the early days of the MCU. We've seen several of the other characters reprise their roles in older style uniforms. So there's something in there. There's something going to happen. How they do it may tie into Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is a dead giveaway right now, something that might happen. So I have high hopes. I would like to see the character return, if not for just, that one big bang and call it a day. Because I do like the character. I have enjoyed him in the movies.
Okay, then. Well, let me ask you this: since we are coming to the end of the show, what would you rank him as?
I'm not going to give him a 5. I
Give
will
him.
give him a 4.
Okay.
Um, in this case, I don't really have a comparison other than the comics. I think he's a lot better than this version of the character is entertaining, has been enjoyable to watch grow throughout the series. Has the actor is good. I mean, he's fun. I've seen him in other stuff. Um, and I know he's a cunning, very masterful character, which I kind of like the smart characters. He's vulnerable. He knows it, but he tries to work his way around it. Um, and as the series has developed, as we've talked earlier, the character itself has grown from being a selfish person to, I know I messed up. I'll take my medicine, carry on, kick his ass later, kind of thing. So that's why I'm gonna give him a 4. I can't truly go with a 5 here, but I will definitely give him a 4.
I'm going to give him a 5 out of 5.
What?
Because I never cared about Loki. He made him interesting to me, and
I,
he's kept my interest with the character.
I've liked him. I just couldn't truly do a 5 on him. I would love to.
And I would say yes, Hiddleston definitely hit the mark with the character. Like he owns that role. To me,
Yeah, I truly would not see anybody fulfill his way to go. I just don't see anybody stepping in that role very easily because, again, um, I don't, it's just like, the Hulk we talked about earlier, or Blade as we talked about earlier today, and the other two character rankers. I think he's embedded himself in my mind of a character that would be very difficult, not impossible, but very difficult to replace in the MCU in a live action series. I mean, I'm sure they make, if Disney wants to bring that to life, hey, go ahead, knock yourselves out. But I think everybody will kind of be expecting the Tom Hiddleston version of him, just because he's grown on you in the last 15 years and all the versions that he's been. So, yeah.
All right. Well, you heard our ranking on the character in the comment section below. Let us know what you rank the character of Loki portrayed by Tom Hiddleston in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on this channel. And we'll definitely catch you guys later. Peace out.